They did it because they had to. And collective, that is what I saw when I felt the energy behind your reading, is I saw chains. So somebody had to. They were like chained. They had no choice in doing what they had to do. That's their explanation, and that's their reasoning behind what they had to do. And it's whether you like it or not. Because this person, someone, or maybe this is just a collective, greater scale thing, people are coming clean on what they did, and their explanation is, I just had to do it because it was what I had to do. I was chained to it. I was bound to it. I had made promises that I had to keep. So the Seven of Swords reversed is coming clean on maybe some deceit, or maybe some deceit by omission, some things we have left out of the conversation. And it is kind of deceit by omission. It's purposefully left out of the conversation, an explanation that we have not given before. And now we're giving that explanation. We're explaining the reason why we did the perhaps sketchy things that we did, or subversive things that we did. And we're just saying that we did what we were forced to do based on the promises that we had made, or the position that we're in kind of backed us into a corner. We were backed up into a corner. On the bottom, we have 10 of Pentacles. 10 of Pentacles is the establishment. 10 of Pentacles is tradition. It is the structure around us. So it's like if you had a job, right? And let's say you're mad at your boss because your boss was shitty and fired your best friend. He's like, well, based on the numbers, we had to downsize. And based on the numbers, that was the person that had to go. And they're giving you a very cut and dry explanation that is based on logic. So King of Swords is cold. So the explanation again is my hands were tied, right? The chains. My hands were tied, and I had to do what I had to do based on the position of being the boss, based on the position of, let's say this person is fiscally responsible for the company, right? So their hands are tied. They have to look at the company first. And so they did what they had to do, and it might seem shady because they fired your best friend out of nowhere, but maybe it's not out of nowhere. But you're going to be given an explanation. This is obviously not going to be exactly that for all of you. That's just one example. But whatever your situation, you're going to be given an explanation and a reason that is cold, calculating, but also logical behind why somebody did the subversive thing that they did. All right, this is getting interesting. Let's pull Oracle cards and find out more about what's going on with the collective. Tell me more about this reading for what's going on with the collective, all signs for this week, please. Tell me more about what's going on with everyone. What's going on with everybody? All right, so we had the 3 cards come out. One of them came out sideways, which was really interesting. So we have the Queen here coming out with the rope, and then the nut sideways. This is explaining a little bit more into this person's motivation. Whoever it is this person is in your life, why they did what they did. Again, it's a promise. So the rope is a promise, a binding promise or a binding contract. And the Queen is kind of following through. This person is actually trying to do what they said that they were going to do, even if they're put in a position where what they have to do is sketchy. They're doing what they said that they were going to do. Now, this could just be a political thing where you're seeing politicians, they make calls on policies and they vote for policies that overtly look crazy. It's like, why did you vote for that? Well, a lot of times it's because the people who invested in them, their constituents, the people who support their, who give them financial support, okay? They expect things out of these politicians. So that's the nut sideways. The nut sideways is whoever initially invested in you. So whoever initially invested in you, it's your investor. That person has a say. That person, you're kind of bound to them. Like, because they helped you get started, you're promised to them in some way. You're kind of like, I don't want to say enslaved, that's too strong a word, but you are promised to them, and you have to kind of not do what they say, but you have to kind of take what they say into consideration. That's for damn sure. And that's the reason why this person, again, had their hands were tied, is because of whoever it was that's their backer. Whoever it was that's their backer expected them to do something that was what they had to do, and they did it. So anyway, okay, let's move on to the Oracle cards. Or rather, let's move on to advice. That was the Oracle cards. Let's move on to advice for the collective and see if we can come up with any advice on how to deal with this person. Or just any advice. Let's see what comes out. Any advice for the collective, please? Any advice? Oh, we got one card already. High Priestess. I mean, the High Priestess is certainly don't do any. It's actually the advice is don't do anything. It's like be quiet, be silent, fly under the radar. So I guess the other option might be to call this person out, right? Maybe make a scene. Maybe be like, well, I still don't think that was fair. You know, you could make a scene. This is saying don't do that. It's saying kind of fly under the radar. All right. So let's see what else there is. Four of Cups with the Six of Cups. I mean, the Four of Cups with the Six of Cups, this is saying try to see the positives, really. It's trying to see the positives in what happened. Four of Cups is your what happened. So again, this is probably something that's already happened. And the Six of Cups is the positive in how it benefits the rest of the people. I'm not saying like take their side. I'm just saying try to see the positives in the situation and don't really make a big fuss about it. All right, let's see what we get out of the Oracle cards, because I don't know, I feel like this is wishy-washy advice. On the bottom is the Eight of Pentacles, which is kind of like, again, it's like kind of a mind your own business, keep your nose to the ground kind of thing. Mind your own work. Let's see what we get out of the Oracle cards for advice. Anything else for advice here for the collective? Anything for advice for the collective for this week? 5 cards coming out here. So first, the Crown. Oh, Pluto and the Sun. All right, now that's really interesting. And then we have the Road Forward and the Hand. So the Crown, Pluto, and the Sun all has to do with the people who are in charge, the people who are in power all the way at the top. The investors, the board of directors, the VP of the company, okay? That's the Sun, the Pluto with the Crown. And not just the people, actually, it wouldn't even be the investors, because these are the people who are visibly at the top. So yeah, like the board of directors, are they visibly at the top? I guess it's public, but they're usually kind of in the background. This would be like the VP, you know, or the CEO of the company. And now this is, looking at this, we've got the Road Forward in the Hand. There's opportunities. You might get tapped to move up. I mean, maybe you could eventually become the CEO of the company, but it does require, like I said, that you don't make a fuss right now, that you kind of see the positives right now, that you don't make a big deal about whatever this thing is that people probably have different opinions on, you know. People probably look at what happened as kind of sketchy and negative. But this is saying look at the positives, and then the people at the top will actually notice the people who looked on the bright side of things and who acted in a positive manner to, I mean, I feel like this is advice within a company. I feel like this is advice within your job. Now, if this isn't about your job necessarily, this is just saying that the person who is behind the decisions, who's in power, the person who's in power who made the weird decisions or the sketchy decisions or the taboo decisions, those people will notice the people who are supportive in whatever circumstance that is in your life, okay? So if you are just one of the people who rolls with it, if you're one of the people who rolls with it and moves forward in a positive way, wherever this is happening in your life, you'll be recognized, you'll be rewarded, and you'll actually progress. You'll be given like a step up, like you'll be lifted up and you'll be pushed forward fast. Essentially, you could be promoted. You know, that's what the road with the hand here is saying, is you could be tapped on to move forward in whatever direction you're going faster. It's almost like you get shortcutted. On the bottom, we have the Princess. So the Princess is the tendency, the knee-jerk response to be a bitch, really. To be like, I don't think that was fair. You didn't consider, you didn't consider the little guy. And maybe all these things are true, but maybe there is like some other good reason why it's not true. It's just saying, see both sides of the situation. Gemini is actually putting yourself in somebody else's shoes. So before you act like the princess and knee-jerk response to like a bottom line and to just basically judging this person or this company, whatever entity was in charge, before you knee-jerk response to judging them, put yourself in their shoes, try to see the positives, roll with it. Rolling with it is like going to let you ride the way forward with this group of people. I mean, and maybe I don't even think you have to give up your principles for it. You don't have to say like, oh, this person is a great person. You don't. You just have to see the positives in what they did, or this person or group of people, and use it to your benefit. That's what the advice here is saying. All right, guys. So collective, that is your reading. Thank you guys for being here. If you guys want to support my work and you like what I do, you can do that by following the channel, subscribing, and you can also check out Patreon, which I've got some cool stuff over there. I've got some love readings, monthly readings. So I would appreciate you guys checking that stuff out. Links should be below, and I will see you guys next time.